Welcome to this explainer. We're tackling something I know we all absolutely dread. You know the exact feeling, right? You've got 14 browser tabs open across 3 different devices, you're frantically clicking back and forth, and suddenly, bam, a flight fare jumps 90 euros right in front of your eyes just because you wanted to take a second to read the airline's baggage policy. It's totally exhausting. 15 browser tabs, 45 minutes, it's just total chaos. That kind of unstructured browsing, it simply doesn't work. It just leads to major panic and, honestly, pretty bad decisions. But hey, here's the good news. Flight comparison is confusing by design. It doesn't actually have to be that way. Today, we're going to swap out that stressful browsing for a highly efficient, fast, and completely repeatable 15-minute booking system. And just to put things into perspective, let's look at what's really at stake here. 150 to 400 euros. That is the typical price spread between the absolute cheapest and the most expensive options on a single long-haul route. Think Dublin to Delhi on the exact same departure day. If you're a family of 4, that spread can literally translate to a massive 1,600 euro difference. That is cash much better spent sipping drinks at your actual destination, right? So, to lower that anxiety and get you the best flights in a fraction of the time, here's our game plan. We'll start with the price comparison trap, then we'll decode headline fares versus true costs, pick the right booking tools, walk through the 15-minute booking process, and finally go over some costly mistakes to avoid. Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the price comparison trap and why algorithms make finding flights so incredibly chaotic. So here's what we're actually up against. Airlines use these crazy dynamic pricing algorithms that constantly respond to 4 main triggers. They look at remaining seat inventory, the time elapsed since the flight went on sale, the current booking velocity, and competitor pricing signals. Practically speaking, this means a fare that's 820 euros on Monday can suddenly spike to 940 by Thursday just because a competitor sold out their low fare allocation. It's like a giant puzzle, and that is exactly why you absolutely must compare prices on the actual day you intend to book, not just on a random day when you get curious. Which brings us to a massive shift in how we need to think. Section 2, headline fares versus true cost. Beware the pricing mirage. Now, the absolutely crucial point to remember here is that the first price you see on your screen is almost never the real cost of your trip. Let's say you spot an option with an appealing base fare of 890 euros. Sounds like a steal, right? But wait, add a 23-kilogram bag for 70 euros, a 35 euro advanced seat selection fee, a 2% card fee, and maybe a 50 euro secondary airport transfer, suddenly that supposedly cheapest option balloons to a true total of 1,065 euros. Meanwhile, another option that looked a bit more expensive upfront at 1,040 euros, but actually included all those extras, is secretly the cheaper, smarter choice. You have to actively deconstruct those headline fares. And listen, euros aren't the only currency you're spending. Your time and comfort, those are very real costs. An 18-hour journey compared to a 13-hour one is a massive 5-hour quality of life penalty. Imagine a brutal 6-hour overnight layover that forces you to book an expensive transit hotel, or arriving in Belfast instead of Dublin and having to drive for 2 extra hours. You really need to assign a real-world value to your time and factor that right into your comparison. Right, now that we know what we're actually looking for, let's talk about Section 3, the right booking tools, focusing on the big difference between meta-search engines and OTAs. This is a crucial distinction in the travel industry that catches out even the most experienced flyers. Meta-search tools, like Google Flights or Skyscanner, just aggregate and display prices. They're basically just for discovery, and they redirect you elsewhere to actually book. Online travel agencies, or OTAs, think Expedia or eDreams, are middlemen. They take your payment and they manage the booking directly. So why does this matter? Well, if your flight gets canceled and you booked through an OTA, you are dealing with their customer service, not the airlines. And let me tell you, OTA customer service quality can vary wildly. So what meta-search engines should you actually be using? Well, Google Flights is totally the gold standard if your dates are flexible, thanks to its awesome calendar view. But it routinely misses carriers like Ryanair, so you pair it with Skyscanner, which hits the nail on the head for budget routes and checking secondary airports. Kayak is fantastic for historical price prediction data, and Momondo is great for unearthing unusual indirect routings. Honestly, just combining Google Flights and Skyscanner takes less than 10 minutes and covers pretty much all your bases. All this background leads us straight to our main solution, Section 4. The 15-minute booking process, your step-by-step framework. If you want to ditch that tab-switching anxiety for good, follow this exact sequence. First up, define your non-negotiables, stops, bags times before you even hit search. This stops you from being completely swayed by terrible schedules masked by low prices. Next, run a Google Flights calendar search and apply smart filters, like bags included, so you're comparing apples to apples. Then, cross-check those dates over on Skyscanner. From there, shortlist 3 to 5 realistic options. And the final step? Go directly to the airline's websites to verify the price and calculate your true final total cost. But remember, timing this process is just as crucial. The sweet spot, the absolute optimal booking window for long-haul flights, is usually 8 to 16 weeks before departure. If you're traveling during peak season, stretch that out to maybe 4 to 5 months. But whatever you do, do not check 9 to 12 months out. It just creates these false price anchors that'll totally ruin your perspective. And definitely don't wait for the final few days either. That's when those algorithms aggressively target panicked last-minute business travelers with massive price spikes. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Let's zip through Section 5, costly mistakes to avoid. Don't fall at the final hurdle. Even if you found a stellar route, these common errors will absolutely drain your wallet. Number 1, using only one comparison tool. You're going to miss the gaps. 2, skipping the direct airline website check. You might miss out on an exclusive flash sale or way better cancellation terms. 3, please don't check manually every single day. Just set automated fare alerts on tools like Kia or Hopper so you only spend energy reacting when prices actually move. 4, never ignore a terrible schedule just to snag the lowest number. And finally, never sort by cheapest without looking at best first, so you actually understand the trade-offs you're making. Let's actually bring this all together with a real-world example from our sources. We had a traveler looking to fly from Dublin to Delhi who initially had 22 different options. By applying this exact 15-minute framework, they easily filtered out a completely brutal 4 a.m. Turkish Airlines departure. After calculating the hidden bag fees, they quickly realized a supposedly cheaper flight was just a total pricing mirage. The final result? A vastly superior, much more comfortable Qatar Airways booking via Doha. And the total time from their very first search to booking confirmation? Exactly 13 minutes. Which leaves us with this final thought. It is officially time to stop playing the airline's chaotic game. By following a structured process, defining your limits up front, using the right tools in the right sequence, and calculating that true total cost, you finally take back control. So what do you say? Are you ready to close those 15 browser tabs, beat the algorithms at their own game, and start booking your flights strategically for your next trip? I certainly hope so. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy travels.